Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome back to this week's altcoin update. First and foremost, remember, nothing discussed today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is just for educational purposes only. And now that's out of the way, let's jump into the charts. So today we've had requests for INJ and CRV, so we will take a look at both these coins. Now INJ, there's a lot of people banging on about this on Twitter or X at the moment, and quite rightly so, because obviously it's created a new all-time high. Looking at this, there may be another chart that's got more history, but for now I'm looking on the Binance chart, and as we can see here, just draw a line on this wick if I can connect to it, and we've taken out the highs, and we're starting to see a bit of a pullback, which is to be expected. Okay, so does this mean now it's moon time or it's doom time? Well, let's wait and see. All I will say is right now where we are, I wouldn't be chasing this long, okay, because we've got a very thin move up, okay? So quite clearly we can just see this. We're looking on the daily chart here, got a very thin push up here, okay? We've not created any structure. The last bit of the structure that we've created is this consolidation here before the breakout. Okay, we can see here went sideways in a sideways range, broke the top of the range, came back, back tested it, hovered around here, consolidated a little bit, and then we've had another push up, which is great, obviously, for the bulls. Now is the time. If you've not been skimming off a little bit of profit here at least, then you're a bit of a fool in my eyes. But, you know, you trade your style, I'll trade my style. Okay, so what's next? What's next? Okay, so as I said, personally, I wouldn't be interested in longing this here. And the reason being is, again, we've just tested the all-time high. We're having a pullback, consuming to our lower term time frame. As you can see here, the 4 hour is starting to angle down, but the trend, and again, this is what's important, we are still creating higher lows and higher highs. Okay, where does that change? Well, effectively it changes down here at this point here. Okay, so until we start breaking this on a higher term time frame, we're not losing any structure. Okay, so the way I'd be viewing this right now, I personally don't trade breakouts, but if we are to continue consolidating up here and grinding up against this level, still creating those higher lows, and then we see a sustained breakout, then there's the opportunity for this to run harder. Okay, again, once again, this for me, I wouldn't be trading this. I personally don't trade breakouts because it's got a very low hit rate. However, that's effectively how you're going to see a confirmed breakout. Obviously, it could, right now, from where it is, just moon straight up in a straight line, and everyone would get overly bullish, but once again, you're not creating any structure. So ideally, what you want to see, if you are bullish on this asset, is you want to see some consolidation, similar to what we had here. Sideways price action. That way, it's creating some structure. Because if it then does break up and comes back into said structure, at least there's some volume support for the potential for it to move higher. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for here. Now, if it does start to roll over from where we are right now, then once again, as I said, I'll be looking for it to come back towards this sticky zone here. Obviously, this is the consolidation that led to the push up, that led to the breakout. So if we are to see some sort of pullback down into this zone here, then you potentially got a long opportunity. Now, what you'd want to see within this zone is you'd want to see the sign of strength. Okay, if you start seeing some sign of strength, you start to see some lower time frame trend changes, market structure breaks to the upside, then fair enough. Then you've got a potential long trigger on your hand. Now, once again, if that happens, then you'll be looking back up towards this zone here. And if it does break out of that zone, then you can be looking for higher prices. And then you're in blue sky territory. If you don't get a long opportunity here, then effectively all you're doing, just let it roll over into the next sticky zone. Now, the next major sticky zone would actually be all the way back down here. Okay, so this is what I would consider as healthy market structure. You've got a push up, you've got a range, you've got a push up, you've got a range, you've got a push up, you've got a range. This is healthy. This is a healthy trending environment. Okay, it's when things start to go up in a straight line that you don't have a healthy environment, unless you start to see this kind of structure, some more consolidation, which then can lead to another drive up. As it stands right now, I'd personally be very cautious if I was trading this. I'm not trading this. So I'm a bit of an armchair participant right now, but that's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'd want to see some consolidation here. If no consolidation here before another push up, then looking back down at this zone, it's quite simple. Is that you don't need to overcomplicate it on this. It has been in a very strong uptrend. It has broken through several major resistance levels, and it's still continuing up. We can see all the volumes down here, but we do have some volume structure left over in this zone here. But realistically, a lot of that's been wiped out now. So if we do a fresh pull from here, we can see we've got some volume here, which is this consolidation here, and still the bulk of the volume is down here. Okay, so once again, pulls back this sticky zone first. If that sticky zone offers a trade, then you've got a long. If that sticky zone offers no trade, then we're looking realistically back down here. And if you get accepted back into value, then it's going to be a real tough blow for a lot of people, because then they'll be looking back down at that point of control. Okay, very simple. There's no need to overcomplicate this chart right now. Obviously, if you do break up higher, trade the trend. Eventually, it will go against you. But just make sure that you're not being a degenerate and you're locking in profits, because that's where people go wrong. So, next, CRV. Now, we've not looked at this for some time. Some LTA on this, so just throwing this onto log scale here so we can see it a little bit clearer. And effectively, we're still going sideways. Okay, so what's happening right now? Well, we can see we've had this downwards trend all the way into this downwards trend, and then we've started to flip on a daily, potentially into a bit of a bullish trend. So that's one thing to note right now. The trend locally is up. Overall, it's still down. Okay, so if we look on the weekly is still technically downtrending while it's below this level here. The monthly, in turn, is still downtrending. Okay, it's only the daily that's turned around to the upside. Now, what would I be doing right now? Well, first and foremost, let's just throw it on a volume profile of the whole entire range. Curious to see how this looks. There we go. There's a point of control there. We've just flipped. Right. Okay. So we can see this now. So for me here, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drives up. Coming into a sticky zone. Again, if you're looking on the volume profile here, we're still within the thick of it, which is effectively the cluster that's around the point of control here, which where the bulk of the volume is coming back from this, this, and this. Okay. Now, if this is a genuine flip of the point of control, and we can be looking for higher prices. Now, if we're going to start looking for higher prices, realistically, the next major resistance will be above us around our golden pocket zone. Now, if we flip this onto the weekly, zoom in, we can see here, we've got a big sticky zone within this, which is effectively a small consolidation range in itself. We've got this above. Now, we also could zoom in a little bit more and go a little bit more local, which would be this here. Now, if we just throw this out of log a second, and we can see this here. This is obviously why we're getting a rejection right now. We can see. Okay, well, this sticky zone. So, if this point of control does hold, okay, if this point of control does hold, we'll come back down, test it, and then we'll get another drive up. And first and foremost, within here, we're still within a sticky zone, okay? If we can push past that and take out these highs and these highs, effectively we've got equal highs, then I'll be looking back up into this zone here. Now, with this zone here, that'd certainly be a take profit on your longs and potentially an opportunity to hedge. Bear in mind, the higher term time frame trend, the weekly, is still down, okay? It's still down. So it's one thing you've got to take into account. Now, bear in mind, this has been a pretty weak shitcoin right from the get-go. So it won't surprise me if we just continue to go sideways and down for a longer period of time. But effectively, they're your two major areas above us, okay? So we're in one right now, looking to see if that point of control holds. If it does, and we push higher, then I'm looking within this sticky zone here. It's a big area, is that. You see where the point of control is, but obviously that's going to vary depending on the exchange that you're trading on. Okay, that's a big sticky zone. Now, what if it just rolls over from here? Well, if it just rolls over from here, then realistically, if we lose that point of control, then we can start looking further down. If we're looking further down from this point, then ultimately I'd be looking to run these stops. Okay, more likely into this level here. So if we do roll over, then I'll be looking for something along those lines. Take those lows, take the overall lows perhaps just take these lows, then show me a lower time frame, something like a 4 hour plus, change of structure to the upside, and then you've got a long trigger. If you don't get that sign of strength, if you don't get a lower time frame market structure shift to the upside, then let it roll over and it could go lower. How low could it go? Who knows? Okay, can it go to zero? Yes, any asset can go to zero. Okay, can it go to the moon? Yeah, any asset can go to the moon. It makes no difference what it is. It's just we're trading the charts. Okay, so effectively that's what I'll be looking at. So lose this point of control. Realistically, I'll be looking to take the lows. Okay, down into this value area low region. So this would be an overall zone. Okay, continue to push up, hold the point of control, then I'll be looking, taking these highs into this sticky zone here. Okay, very simple, level to level. Again, I'm not going to get overly excited on an asset that looks like this because it's not really showing any major strength compared to some of the other coins that are out there. There's a lot of alts that have been running, like we've just seen with INJ. It's a case of chasing the alpha and not looking for some weak zero participation coins. Okay, eventually, yeah, it might go up. It might go up. But for now, there's plenty of other altcoins that I'd be trading over this. Right, that'll do. If you've learned something today, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And if you've not hit that bell notification, then hit it, because it's pointless watching these videos back in a week's time after the move's already played out. All right, gang, that'll do. As you were. Bye-bye.